Welcome to the Brownsville Minute, a community-conscious conversation and a platform that provides information, wellness, love, and unity all on a digital platform. And our goal is to try to make sure that our community residents are informed, conscious, and that we are connecting the dots on a virtual platform. The Brownsville Minute is designed for everyone. Please join us with the Brownsville Minute. Well, hey there, good people. I am super excited to have you join us today for another wonderful episode of the Brownsville Minute. My name is Anita Pierce, and I'm the host and producer of the Brownsville Minute. But I am so excited to have you join us today because guess what? I am not by myself today. I know you want to hear of me, but not today. I am really happy because I get to interview someone who is in a space. I've seen this individual within community meetings, advocating on the ground, doing groundwork. But I also discovered what I didn't know, that this person who I'm going to interview is also an author, a heavy community advocate, business owner. But I can't tell the story. I will let my guest tell the story, and welcome Miss Ketriana Yvonne. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Oh, can't be more than me. So please do tell the audience, Ketriana, who you are creating to be, and also just tell us who you are. We need to know.
Who I am. I wrote a poem about who I am, but I won't do that. Okay, so I am Ketriana Yvonne. I'm a resident of Fort Greene, Brooklyn, born and raised. Currently, I am a Fort Greene community hero and a poet, writer, producer of the Ketriana Yvonne Show, which is, I believe, in the 7th year at Brooklyn Free Speech, a 2-time Be Free winner, which we just had our Be Free Awards Saturday for the first time since 2019. I was nominated this year, but I did not win, but that's okay. I had kind of moved on to some other things that I'll have to share regarding another program in Brownsville that I was part of. And what else? So I'm a writer, workshop leader. Basically, I'm a poet. Currently, I am a Sukasa awardee for the Brooklyn Arts Council. I'm doing a spirit writing workshop in the Abe Sharp Senior Center on Farragut in Millsbergen, which was a new area for me. And I'm working with seniors there to write a profile. I believe it's going to be a presentation in June and a magazine. Just what seniors have to say, who they are, and what they have learned or want to leave for the next generation. So that's my current project that I'm working on. And I'm also a county committee member for the District 57, the treasurer as well. So we do a lot of fundraising and civics for enlightening our community on what's going on politically. And that keeps me busy as well.
Wow. Okay.
And before all of that, I usually say I'm Ketriana Be Loved, because that's the most important thing to me. You know, all the other things are just things that I guess I'm assigned to do, and I do them.
All right, so I have a couple of questions. What is Sukasa? What is that?
Sukasa is a program. This is my first year being. It's a grant program that links up from the Brooklyn Arts Council, serving 47 different senior citizens, where people basically do a program within the arts. Within senior citizens, they link them up to different senior citizens, and you do a proposal of what you would like to do. And, they have a panel, and if you're chosen, you get support and funding to do that program. So this was my first year. And I think it was 47. I think the program has increased some. I don't think it was as many senior citizens as before. So
Mm,
that's been so this runs for me from March until June.
okay.
So I'm working with within the allotted time that they give me to speak with and have a workshop. And it's been interesting. Well, there was actually someone that had a book, so I'm able to help her because you have challenges sometimes when you self-publish or you publish through another company, and then you find out lots of things. So that's basically where I am at this point, to enlighten people.
And so, thank you for clarifying that. I'm curious about, you mentioned that you are a facilitator and also a county committee member. What is that? What does that mean?
So very quickly, county committee, which is very important, and most people don't know what county committee is. County committee is like 5,000 positions available through our boroughs that usually people don't highlight or talk about, but they're
Right.
very important because what's happened historically, um, nobody knows. They know about district leader. It's an unpaid position that you actually petition for. You get enough signatures, and even the actual districts, like our ADC, we formed when we ran,
Mm,
and I think Rep Your Block was instrumental in just helping build this awareness because of the need for new leadership. And for people to be empowered to know, even though you have your Brooklyn Democratic Party, and then you have, it's supposed to be all the districts, that represent those communities. But if that's not set up, basically you're being disenfranchised because you're not representing the community. You have the big council, and they have proxies for people maybe that they placed that didn't run. Um, and so that's been a big challenge. But it's been a challenge, but it's been rewarding because it has been a lot of people that have been informed, and we have been able to do a lot of crucial work. Like right now is time for judges to run, and we had a forum with them. We're doing some fundraising, and we have civics for people in the community. So we have a lot of things going on. And so to find out more about county committee, um, it goes by your assembly district. And if there's already one formed, they should have like a membership. They have subcommittees, like on finance. Um, they have membership, people that attend meetings. So, yeah, it's a way that just average community members get information by attending, finding out what's going on, and sharing sharing it with the community.
that's great. That's great information. And thank you for your service, because I've never,
Right.
um,
I had never either, and I'm involved. And
yeah,
that's the problem. So
right,
how can we not be knowing about 5,000 positions that people can just run for by petitioning?
right.
Because I'll just say they don't want you to know. And I won't say who they are, but anyway.
And those positions are equally important because they're supposed to be helping to pick judges. Like that's not
Well, as far as judges, I'm a judicial delegate. I was
mm,
last year, and I think I'm one this year. So those people are asked to be a delegate.
mhm.
Some people petition, um, but so even that, you learn a lot because as a delegate, you go to the convention and you're supposed to be the people that pick the judges. But how that process works is a whole nother story.
Yeah. It's always something deeper, but that's one of the things that I appreciate about what you're elevating is the importance of becoming engaged, right?
Engaged. It's so important to become engaged in your community. Find out who you're, because we have a lot of new leaders. A lot of people don't know. Even for my area, which was represented by Hakeem Jeffries, now is Nadia Vasquez. So we're about to have a meeting with her and to let her know what's going on and how she can help us and what she's done and what we need done. So, and that will also be attended by Crystal Hudson as well, who also is in office. And I can tell you, she just found out about this 3 years ago too by attending a meeting and ran. So that's how it happens. You got to be informed. You have to get out there and know what's going on.
And it does require a lot. I want to say that being civically engaged within your community comes in a lot of different forms, right? And we can't attend everything, but focusing on, what I'm hearing from you is the focusing on the thing that you know that you can do and continue to just be engaged that way. But that sounds like really like something that and I'm glad you mentioned it because know nothing about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. How can we have leaders that represent us and we not? It's like it's almost like the best kept secret. But it's a secret for a while, but the word is out now. So you can run or your district leader, you can let them know you're interested in being county committee, and when the next round comes up, they submit names, or when we have open like now we're running for, I guess the next time will be for 2024.
Got it. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's pretty good to know. So I'll make sure that, specifically through this platform that we share awareness about what that is. And I really appreciate you highlighting that. I want to transition a bit about, you mentioned that you help with self-publishing, that you yourself are an author. Would you describe that process for you? What did that look like for you?
Okay, what the process looked like for me, and I'm sure the process looks different for everyone. So I think what's important though is the process is a personal process for everyone. Like say when I first, because I hadn't been a writer long, and how that came about, I guess just had to be God led. Because within a short period of time, it was just like, wow, all of a sudden everyone I know is a poet. And this is true. I knew no poets like 8 years ago, maybe like one, but literally everyone is a poet that I know now. And the process for me started because even the poetry part, I wasn't a poet. And because some things I do are spirit led, I met someone, I took a class. I guess I was starting a business called One Woman League, which was supposed to be at that time to help women start their business. And so that led me to just start taking workshops that were available through BRIC at the Grand Army Plaza Library. So I did that. And there was this one particular class called Poetry to Image. And I don't know what it was, but it's like I tell people the key thing now is to walk through the door of your fear, because that's the other side of your tomorrow. And if you don't walk into your fear, you'll just be like in that safe place. So like it was just a weird day because I was like, oh, I'm not a poet. I don't know about getting to this class. It was in the winter time. I was, oh, they're going to be, I had all these things popping up in my head, but I kept going and I went and I met someone else in the group who was a writer. and we became friends that day. And so maybe we were going home, and she's, I'm always telling stories. So she was like, "Oh, you have great stories. You should write." So when she said that, it sounded like my voice, because sometimes that comes to me to tell, like, if you can just be spiritually led to tell someone what they're supposed to do. And so it's been plenty times as one person, that's all I was supposed to tell that person. So it reminded me of my voice. So what I do now is, when people tell me something, I listen to them, because I know that we're always being linked to people to tell us, to deliver a message. Now, whether we listen to it or not is another story. So I listened, and then we took a workshop together, and it was a creative writing workshop. And then from there, I just kept going and met a lot of people, took a lot of workshops, did open mics. I think there was a contest. Damian Higgins, who has Truly Brooklyn, he had a contest for to write about Brooklyn. So I wrote about Brooklyn. So My Dear Brooklyn, which is my tribute piece, which I had won for that contest, and is now going to be a part of a song that I worked on. I'm also a member of the Intergenerational Community Arts Council through BRIC, where we serve arts and culture in our community with people from the community. So we do lots of great projects, and that was our latest, which we will be performing in Atlantic Terminal, in Ingersoll, and in Fort Greene Park in June. So I'll give you more information about that. But to get to your point about how did the process. So the process for me was, I always listened to Wayne Dyer. I've been more a spiritual person most of my life, and those are the kind of books that I read. So I always wanted to be a Hay House writer. So my process was, I wanted to be a Hay House writer. But for poetry, they took, you had to go through Balboa Press. So I went through Balboa Press to write my book. And then my book happened to come out like right at COVID time. So I think I did like 2 book signings, and then, the whole world changed. And it got a little different for me, because I started doing different things. So I didn't really focus on the book like I wanted. So now it's sort of like, it's taken a life of its own with the workshop. So I just call like my writing workshop Sequence Soul Spirit Writers. And that's just that everybody writes from their spirit. It's no, people have this idea of what writing is about. And I just never met a bad writer. And so you just meet, and we do prompts, or if someone's working on a workshop on a particular project, we can read that. And we're also sharing each other's voices. Like if I have something and I read it, it's different if you read it. And it's important to hear your own work. So within that, I just found that that journey everyone goes through, it's like, should I self-publish? Should I go traditional? Should all these should? So it took me about a year of seeing what everyone else did, and to come back to what my original purpose was. So my original purpose was, I wanted to be a Hay House writer, because those are the people the books that I read. So that was my process. So I would tell someone else, stick with what your purpose and what you want to do. Don't go all, you can ask people, but it's your personal process. So you follow like what, if it's going to be self-publishing. And, for the most part right now, I think a lot of people, everyone's writing a book. And if you don't have any experience, they're finding out they're spending money. And it's not a very honest, I would say, industry, because you can spend a lot of money. And if you don't spend it on marketing, you're not being marketing. And if you don't know marketing, then you'll just have a book that does nothing. So, and, Amazon pretty much dominates. And so just follow your heart as far as what your purpose is for writing. And I know plenty of people that have written like their own books where they get all the money and doing tremendously. And then there's other people that'll advise you to be a traditional, but if it's poetry, it's usually harder. So, it's different routes to go. But my next route through this journey is to just publish for myself and other people.
Okay. So the book that you have, uh,
Mm-hmm.
so Poetry from the Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
you wrote it before COVID?
I wrote it, I think it came out like the end of December, like 19th, the
Okay.
yeah, of 2019. And yeah, that's when it came out. And then COVID was in March. So I was on my path of um, doing my marketing then and having book signings. And then after that, I think I became a New York Writers Coalition workshop leader, which they also had gone virtual. And because that's how I had started writing initially, I
Mhm.
always wanted to be a workshop leader with them because I wanted to get back. So I did that, and that was wonderful. So COVID, just for most people in writing or doing workshops or um, publishing in Brooklyn, kind of changed how we do things now because, like you're able to do your show on StreamYard, and other people wasn't doing stuff on Zoom. They was doing stuff in person. Like I did my show in a studio that didn't open. Like to me, it's technically still not open because they only have one studio. So
Right.
I've just still been doing Zoom and podcasts. And other people, because it opened up the world of New York to all the country, you get to write with people all over the world, which is the great part that I like.
So tell us more about your podcast and your show, and what do you highlight on your show?
On the Ketriana Yvonne show, what I highlight basically is people that need to be highlighted that I deem to be the um, legends of the future. People
Yeah.
that are not always seen. It's like if you're Hollywood, you have a platform, people know who you are. If
Mhm.
you're Mary Jane on Sutter Avenue, people might not know you other than in your community. So if I happen to meet you or I'm led to meet you and I can see how dynamic you are or you're someone I'm supposed to highlight. So
Yeah.
that has expanded from singers, dancers, psychiatrists to business leaders. Um, some groups, give my shout out to Meridian Lights, that I'm still waiting so I can go to the Grammys because I just know we're going to be there one day. Just some really great people. So those are the people I highlight. And then I just recently started another podcast, which is called Like It Was Veterans Tales. So
Mm.
that's highlighting veterans and their stories, the good, bad, and indifferent. But basically, is like how their experience was in the military, what advice they would have, and how they would make it better, a better experience. So that's what that's about. And yeah, so that's
Yeah. So my other question that I think about, because I know that you and I sit on a stakeholder group.
right.
I'm in Brownsville. I know that you sit on multiple stakeholder groups. Why
Right.
are you so engaged? Like what is it about you that feels the need to be so connected and creating change within a community?
I think it's a part of my purpose. I just feel connected. First of all, I feel connected to my community because I grew up here. I see the things that have happened. I see the things that happened when I was growing up, the effects it had on me. Um, and I remember all the people in my lifetime that happened to tell me about a program in
Mm,
my community. And, I want to be that person to another person, because if I didn't have, it wasn't so much my family, it would just be somebody in the community that would say, oh, I used to volunteer at I went to the High School of Fashion Industries. So I used to volunteer at the Costume Institute. I was just telling my friend that I had interviewed Dr. Maya Green Brown, and she was saying, "You're gonna make it to the Met Ball," and so they were just saying it was coming up. I was like, "Yeah." So, and how I used to be sewing like some of the old costumes and stuff like that, and some of the things I had done as a kid, but like I went to Parsons in high school and took illustration because somebody told me about a program. So, and how if you don't have those people in your community to tell you about things and you don't find out about them, they can't propel you to be enlightened about other things. So I'm compelled to make a difference because I guess the young people that I see, I don't know if people are telling them about things, but I want people to have that opportunity. And I want to make a difference because I don't know what other reason I would be here for. Because it's, you think about all the people that came before us and the work that they did, and it was a lot of work, and it's still stuff to be done. So I don't feel like, I just feel like it's my purpose to to just be out there, and it's in a weird way because I'm sort of like a loner, like most people would be, and I feel like that's how God works through me. Because he, when people don't know who you are, you can actually get more done sometimes, because when you're kind of connected to other people, then you have like the drama with them. And I don't know, I've had that experience of doing things like even in other cities. I'll tell you a short story, which I lived in Baltimore, and they were going to close the libraries. And I just went to a meeting and made a flyer, and people came. And we had 2 co-chairs because we just volunteered that we would. So we were the Friends of Pratt. And so that little small community thing taught me so much, because we ended up saving, it was 10 branches that would close. And we ended up saving that as a community effort that just started from one meeting, one flyer, and probably me going to lots of meetings where people didn't show up, and learning like this political thing that sometimes I was not in at that time, but I learned a lot. And so the one funny thing now I'll say, so that person was Carla Hayden, who is the she at that time she was coming from Chicago to Baltimore, and so we were supposed to have one mega branch, and I'm like, that's not a mega branch city. Like, we need community. People are not going to go take their children or go to one, but if you come from Chicago and you think that everything works in every city, it's not right. So anyway, she was placed by President Obama to the Library of Congress. So, and that is just funny because I'm like, that was sort of like my opponent in a way. So you never know. And I do believe that you do make a difference. And that old saying about you can't fight City Hall, you can make a difference. You can fight and you can win. And I should not say that word fight, because that is my one pet peeve with every politician. I want people to stop saying they're fighting for us, because when you fight, it's a negative word, and we need to be about proactive about what it is we want to achieve. Let them say what they're going to do for us. I'm going to get you this. But fighting is like defeat before it happens. And we all use that word. So I just want, if you hear them say that, like, just, I don't know, because it's very important. I remember when I first came to New York, and it was don't destroy Brooklyn. And I remember someone coming up to me, and I was like, I just felt like this is not my fight. And it was the name of it. Don't. And I was like, they're not going to win just because of what it was called. So I'm real keen about people just, being aware of the words that we use and the power that they have. Let
Mm.
them win for us. Doesn't that sound better?
Yeah.
I'm a win for you.
Wow.
Fight is just like war. Nobody wins a war.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and that's one of the most important things I could say. Like just changing the language and taking it into whatever the effort is, seeing it as the result that we want. Because I'm done with like marching. Like I'm on the fast pace. Like we need to have it moving at a rapid pace. So we already know what the issues are, the problems, but what we need to know is how do we fix it? So we can just start fixing it and not really dependent on someone else to do it for us, because that is possible. So that's more productive in my eyes.
Yeah.
So it's just like, and don't let anyone tell us about low income housing, because there is none and we don't want that. Let someone tell us about changing the formula for the AMI, which is how the housing is based, and that is the problem. So people just hear, oh, we're going to get more housing, but you're not getting more housing that you can afford. So there is no low income housing. So forget about it.
So that is really critical.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely appreciate you sharing levels and layers of ways to become engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't look the same for everyone.
Right.
But I too believe that, you know, that one additional contribution that you can add into whatever your day is to make your community better to live in, to work in, or other play in for our children, it can all be done, because one person can start the process, but we need a community to help it to grow.
Exactly. But and they have to know, like so many people think that they can't make a difference. You
Mm.
can make a difference. You can make a difference just like after everything is said and done. Usually what happens, especially in our community, the conversation is us talking about what happened. How did, oh well, this happened and now they have this. It's complaining. But these things don't start like overnight. These things happen 15 years. Like I live in Fort Greene. I moved back to Fort Greene in 1998. I saw gentrification then. So now you have some people, they'll come and act like it just started. I'm like, where were you? So that's what happens. People get caught up in something nonsense, that they have on TV, instead of like what's really going on every day, and they do nothing until it's too late, and then all we end up is with a complaint to talk to your neighbor about. But that's old. You need to be involved. You need to know. You need to take action on things that you see in your community, injustice, things that are not right. Call 311. Get some, put in a complaint. Tell somebody.
So, in wrapping up our discussion, I know that these conversations always get good, meaty, and then time is upon us. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the ways that you believe that one can be engaged within a community to make impact?
To be engaged. If you are engaged in your community in whichever way, you're making an impact, because it takes everyone to do everything that needs to be done. Whether it's one, if some people drive people to meetings, some people tell people, put out flyers. Everyone has their part. And I guess sometimes it's people think, oh, I don't get, oh, when people tell me they don't get involved, I'm just like, I really? Why? But then they want to tell you, oh, politics is this, or it's not even about politics. This goes beyond politics. This is about individuals making a difference. So all you have to do is look at history and think of all the people that got us where we are today. And if they decided that they didn't make a difference or they didn't have a voice. So we have no excuse. simple. Just got to do something. Take a step. Tell somebody, go to a meeting, volunteer for a committee, show up at a meeting, say how you feel. That's doing something. You don't just be voting for people because you know their name and they invite you to their breakfast or whatever. Make them accountable.
Mm. Wow. Wow. I feel like you were speaking to my heart today about,
Mm-hmm.
about the levels of accountability.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we are working towards is doable. We just have to figure out, our part within the communities that we love, live, play, and serve.
Right. And I have to mention, because it is Brownsville, and it's another organization that I had the opportunity of working with, which is a film, and they have Brownsville Initiative, which is an excellent program. Which last year we shot at Durrell. Well, we met at the Durrell Health Center on Pickens Avenue,
Mhm.
and it was their first time having this program. And so it's also the Kashif Incubator, which
Mm.
is named after a fellow Columbia student that passed away, that was an inspiration to his fellow students. And they always wanted to work together. So now they're doing great work. And I was able, even though I had film experience, to do their script writing program and their the filmmaking. So we shot a short film in Brownsville, but they're also now doing a program that starts in June on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 to 9 for committed people, all ages, free. Um, and that's called the Brownsville Initiative. And I'll send you the information about it.
Okay, awesome. And you says the Brownsville.
Initiative. So any young people or older people that have an interest in and a commitment to actually attend, to work with people in the industry to get your story told. It would be, you work with a group, but they actually bring in great people from the industry, and you meet somebody different every week, and it's a great program.
Hmm.
And it's all in love. They're, they'll pick you up and they take care of you. I highly recommend it. A great opportunity to change somebody's life.
Oh, wow. Okay, awesome. Any final words before we wrap?
Well, I would just say thank you so much. I guess there's so many stories, and from the neon, being a neon stakeholder. Yeah, because the funny thing about that, I was actually, well, doing both for Brownsville, but after we had our retreat, I guess I set with with the Brownsville, and since we're working on a project, I guess I'll be doing it with Brownsville, but I'll still jump in, later on your meetings and see what's going on, because I'm connected to, to New York, period, and just, you know, I do truly feel connected to every. I did. They had a workshop in Fort Greene Park. Could be just second annual um, poetry festival, and I wrote something. The workshop was about home and being connected, and I was literally talking about every time I walk outside and I step on the ground, how I feel connected to the cement, because I know my ancestors and my family, they all walked on the same pavement, and so I want to walk. I feel like I'm stepping in their footsteps. So you definitely have to make an impact and a difference. So my difference is to break, like we break all the barriers now, so that your daughter and all the other people that come after me, they could just live and be free and do what they have to do without going through um, the stuff that we're still going through, because we did the work. So it
Mm.
made a difference. So that's it.
And thank you. So again, if you want to check out Ketriana Love on Instagram. She's the author of Sequence Soul Poetry from the Spirit. And definitely like, share, follow. um those are easy things that can be done, but the other thing that was mentioned is about really becoming engaged. I looked up some county committee member information through Rep Your Block, New
Mhm.
Kings Democrat. And it's not just per party, it is both Republican and Democrat. Again, both sides have opportunities for you to participate. Those are the ones that I found immediately. So don't kill me. Um,
And our ADC is adc57kings.org.
okay.
So if anyone lives in Fort Greene, or like, our maps have shifted and they may still change. But right now, it's some of, well, it's Fort Greene, Clinton Hills, and maybe some small part of Bed-Stuy.
Okay. So there you have it. No excuses. We're gonna keep sharing information, because the more we know, the more we're able to get busy and do the work that we are assigned to do in this space.
Right. And also because I find, like, I think my other number one thing is I listen to the news and I hear everyone say, "Oh, we need health care. We need mental health services. We need all these things." And we have all these things. So I think the main thing is, how do we all take our part in sharing information? Because the city has all these programs. It's just like, you it's just not marketed maybe the best way. And now you're doing like the QR codes for everything. And I was just looking at something where they did menus from, I think, all the way back from, I might be wrong, 1800s. And I'm
Mhm.
like, we're going to be lost because we got QR codes for menus now. So that's not going to mean anything in another 20 years or whatever. But it's just like, we have to let people just be informers. That's what, because
Mhm.
there's so many programs. Everybody said, "Oh, we need this. We need." You just got to find out about it. Go to Restoration and check their website. Free financial services. Chase Bank has free financial services. We'll be doing our projects in Fort Greene and Bed-Stuy and Brownsville for the community, and bringing some of these services. But yeah, that's important because people just don't know
Mm.
in the
It's
information age.
right, and it's our and it's but I also believe it's our responsibility to keep putting information out there.
Mhm.
And the more we do our part, that someone will find that these resources, to your point, already exist within the community. Just have to tap in.
Right. Yes.
And
So
so I'm
mhm.
I'm really excited to have shared this time and space with you, but I also wanted to highlight, just some of the things that you mentioned, because all of it was nice and juicy, all of it, all of it, all of it, all of it. But there's some key things that you talked about being engaged within the community, that it takes us all to make this thing work, and everybody has their part. Individuals do make the difference. They make the difference.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
make the difference. And so, on that note, I want to thank you
I
again
want to thank
for
you.
taking time out of your schedule to come and share some great, great information about yourself as an author, a community led from the heart advocate, and also just really keeping us informed on things that we don't know.
Yeah.
So please take the time to, come back again. We love to hear what you're doing next, what you're into. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay. Thank you for having me, and thank you for bringing your Brownsville Minute to the people and doing what you do. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So there you have it. Again, it's really, really amazing to have community individuals who are out there pushing out information, making sure that we are informed. Just wanted to highlight again, you can find Ketriana Be Love on Instagram, is the author of The Sequence Soul Poetry from the Spirit. Also learn about the county committee members. There's information, that you can find and share there as well. Also wanted to highlight there are a number of organizations that have areas and spaces online through the Brownsville Help Cooperative. You can look at information, brownsvillebk.org. You can also check out Brownsville Now, which is managed through the Pickens Avenue bid at brownsvillenow.nyc. Just wanted to also elevate, as we've been talking about the importance of being engaged within the community, all of us are needed to take part in this work. So we need you. If you are, looking for opportunities, you can start with your local community board, stakeholder groups. I actually happen to serve as the community co-chair for the Brownsville Neon. We meet once a month virtually, but we also have various opportunities to become engaged by sharing community programs and resources that are already existing. One through Neon Arts, through Neon Works. Those are the things that exist within a community. And so I don't want to leave you without sharing some recent community announcements. Please be sure to like, share, and follow 11375, or you can check out the Brownsville Minute on Community Board 16 Pickens Avenue bid, and also BMS, and also 11375 on the social platforms. We're very grateful for having you support these efforts, and we're going. Sending you virtual kisses. Bye-bye.
I tried to stand tall, but I never stood a chance. How selfish of me to want them to see me as I am.
I'm over this, man.
I can see the envy from under the mask they're in. How could I expect a pat on the back in a place they wanted to stab
What are
me?
you talking about specifically?
Why do I wish temporary feelings could last again? Why does my future need me to refer to the past again? Naysayers checking in by the minute. It's eating up in my time. And then they always need me to paint a picture after I draw the line. I'm sorry. I drifted from the question.
No problem at all.
Therapy is new for me. I don't think I've ever had a conversation that I felt included me.
Well, that's why we're
It's
here.
like we define things that exist without meaning. But getting back to your question, you asked, what am I thinking?
Yes.
I think so freely as I stare at this ceiling. I think the poison replaced what's meant for healing. I think depression is on the other side of elevating. I think depression hides inside those that are celebrating.
I can see that.
I think the bars that we're rapping are building our own cage. I think my father never thought about me. And what do I feel? I think rage. I think everyone around me can hear what I'm thinking, so I never blink once or think twice about over drinking.
Let's calm down.
I think it's humble of me to say that I'm the greatest. I think
nothing
so
wrong with
much of
being
me,
confident.
but I'm taught to never say it. I think my identity exists with multiple borders, but when they can't understand it, it's labeled a disorder.
I understand,
I
but
think the
let's calm
media and my
down.
social life are at a point of no return. I think they're entitled to just people that never even learn to earn.
Mr. Calm down.
I think truth
Calm down.
is one thing that I know.
Let me ask you this question.
If everything you think is true, how will you ever grow? I never thought about that. Probably for my own protection. It's funny how a view of yourself can be shattered by your own reflection.